Hello, and welcome to the Inspired Afrique segment on the innovation front. Here we highlight builders creating tools that work across countries, from cross-border payment apps to tech for remote teams. We feature startups solving real problems across the continent. Today, we're joined by Firas Rhaiem, the founder of Clarrio, a health tech tool giving healthcare professionals increased insights into the life of patients for improved care. Firas talks about the origin of Clarrio, the impact of the startup on improving chronic health conditions, and what the future looks like for the startup. Clarrio provides data for hospitals and doctors so they can have a clearer view of what their patients get up to outside of the hospital. All right, so I want to understand basically how it really works. So from what you have said, I assume that it's a software tool. It's a software tool, right? So you're not exactly you're not exactly selling wearables. So how do you connect your tool, the software that you have built, with wearables?
So we built something that's interoperable and device agnostic. We built something that can be connected. Everyone can connect on us and we can connect on everyone. So it's very flexible. What we do is we collect data from wearable device. We are device agnostic. So any wearable device, we cover more than 300 devices as we speak. We collect the data, those devices are connected to the phone. So we collect behavioral data, the way they type, the tonality of the voice to understand the stress and the mood. We collect the menstrual cycle data from the phone, the weather. We collect lab results, any text, and we collect photos. We sync these data with the electronic health record with the data in hospitals, and then we generate insights for patients, for doctors, for hospitals, but also for pharma companies and for insurance and payers.
Okay, so the process of connecting this software with over 300 wearables seems like it seems very big. So I want to understand the sort of technicality that goes into it. What sort of technical hurdles do you have to face for this to do this connections? Yeah.
The hardest thing is the time. You just need to be patient when building this. But actually, the biggest challenge is to be able to test and try and collect, because it's collecting data. You need to always test until the API we built became mature enough to be able to manage those 300 devices. And we're still halfway through, because by the end of this year we need to be compatible with 500 devices. So we still have 200 devices that we're targeting to not only wearables but also IoT. In order to build the interoperable systems, we had to. So today we are a Microsoft solution. Our application is supported by Microsoft Marketplace, and in order to do so, Microsoft has provided us with a lot of know-how, a lot of technical support, a lot of technology in order to build something that's scalable, that's secure because it's data, but also they provided us with a lot of know-how in order to be able to be interoperable with any hospital environment.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think you have spoken about chronic diseases, but does Clarrio, does AI have the option of providing data for preventive diseases?
So the issue of any preventive disease is the lack of data. So that's why we don't have any preventions for different diseases, and we cannot predict any events because there were no data. So we position ourselves as a company that's as a data aggregator, where we actually on a first layer we collect these data, and if these data have are with a good quality and labelized, and we start generating insights over time. Yes, we can build. Over time, the algorithm will be able to generate insights for precision medicine. So it will be toward predictive care, but also toward the personalized. We'll be able to know what's the best treatments for patient X versus patient Y. Take into consideration the history of his data, his DNA, his lifestyle, etc. This is where we are heading to.
Okay, thank you for that. And I want to know the kind of impacts that you have seen since you started working on Clarrio. So I know that you're in a couple of markets now, and you have seen how it works with a couple of patients and doctors and hospitals. So what sort of impacts have you seen in terms of accuracy and also for in terms of patient life?
Okay, so today the solution over the 1 year and past 1 year and a half, the solution was deployed on more than 1,800 patients. What we managed to across different chronic disease from epilepsy, Parkinson, migraine, some heart disease, oncology, so cancer, including kids, babies, kids, and adults. What we have managed to achieve today is we have reduced hospitalization by 30%. So we have improved accuracy of diagnosis by 40%. We have reduced emergency hospitalization by 25%. And nearly all our patients, they improve this quality. So, to measure the quality of life for patients, you need to have a score. So the average patients we had when they started collecting their data, they were on 3.1. After 1 year, they were at 6.2. So we nearly doubled the score of quality of life. Patients depends on some disease. For example, for epilepsy, 40% of the people that we collected their data went back to work. Those people were not allowed to work due to the number of seizures. 40% back to work. So if we allow them to get back to life. Additionally, we had seizures. We detect 34% of these patients became seizure free. So just by having access to their data, they understood they became seizure free. So the impact, we are still on the first stages of impact, but so far over a year and a half, the impact is quite big.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that you're currently, I think you're, from what I know, you're currently operating in South Africa, India, France, and Qatar. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I want to know, what markets do you think this will have this will see the biggest growth?
Well, from a scientific impact, I personally believe that Africa will have to be positioned as one of the most interesting markets, because of the population, because of the diversity. So because of also the lack of the data. So there are many things that we can do for our continent, but also for humans and the science part. From a startup growth perspective, I see that the biggest market for us will be Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and then on the third layer it will be the US because of the hospital infrastructures. It's much easier to deploy and scale there. However, both markets sounds growing, and will need years in order to deploy our solution both in both markets.
Okay. And I also, just still on that, I know that there is a bit of, in terms of healthcare technology, there's often just slow adoption, because healthcare can often be conservative. There's also regulatory hurdles to overcome. So how are you navigating the whole issue of slow adoption?
Okay, so it's actually data. Data is never wrong. So if someone is not convinced, you show him the data, and immediately you change their minds. That's for us. That's in data we trust. That's the only way. It's basically facts. And if someone sees any fact, they have to be convinced. The second thing is actually one of the issues in our industry is there were no data. So by just providing data, people will have the wow effect. The third thing is are worried about, data privacy, where's the data is going to be hosted, etc. As we go, we co-sell through Microsoft, so our technology is already certified and verified and transparent enough that reduce the like early adopters are happy with it. But we know it's a matter of just collecting data, and data can provide everyone assurance that it's good enough.
Okay. And is there a way, in terms of the markets that you have currently launched in, is there a way you're positioning your product differently across these markets, or is it just the same across markets?
The needs are the same. There is no data, and the outputs are the same. However, it changed from an industry to another. We are selling in a hospital. Our main goal is to improve always. This is for all cases. Improve the quality of life of patients. Provide doctors with data, but also help hospitals reduce readmission, optimize their cost. But if you are selling to a pharma company, We want to show them that this data about their drug, so how their drug is reducing hospitalization. So instead of will be around hospitalization, it will be about the drug performance. If we are selling to an insurance, will be helpful to like how can we keep the quality or keep improving the quality of life of the patient while optimizing the cost of the claim. Should we accept the claim to hospitalize this person or no? But it's the same data, it's the same feature, but the outputs change.
Okay, interesting. And I think my final question is on where you see Clario going in the future. I mean, now it's really data focused, and just from what you have learned in the past year, how do you think you're thinking of refining it to better fit this markets and other markets you intend to branch into?
We're building the largest data set for real world evidence. So basically data and insight and analytics outside of hospital settings. The competition is, it's a new market, it's growing market. So it's for us, we want to be the company that owns the largest data set. You know, at least in finance, they call it Bloomberg. In finance, for us, we want to be the Bloomberg of health. So having like the biggest insight when it comes to any chronic disease. This is where we want to position ourselves, not in 10 years, but in the next couple of years.